Francisco Lindor just lit up Citi Field with a grand slam. The Mets' second go-ahead home run this postseason in the 6th inning or later. A clutch moment like this hasn't been seen often in Mets history. It takes me back to 1986, to a time when Lenny Dykstra, a fiery young outfielder, smashed a dramatic homer that helped propel the Mets to World Series glory. But Dykstra's story didn't end with that home run. It's a story full of triumph, turmoil, and controversy. Today, we're taking a deep dive into Lenny Dykstra's life, one that's as complicated as it is captivating. Stick around to find out how a World Series hero's life took some unexpected turns. Lenny Dykstra was born on February 10, 1963, in Santa Ana, California. From a young age, he had a reputation for being tough, scrappy, and determined, a kid with big dreams despite a modest upbringing. Those dreams led him to the New York Mets, who drafted him in the 13th round of the 1981 MLB draft. While a 13th round pick might seem unlikely to become a star, Dykstra proved otherwise. He quickly rose through the minor leagues, earning the nickname Nails because of his aggressive style of play. He was fearless on the field, a leadoff hitter with a knack for getting on base and creating chaos for pitchers. Dykstra made his major league debut with the Mets in 1985, and just a year later, he found himself in the middle of one of the most memorable seasons in Mets history, 1986. As the Mets steamrolled through the National League, Dykstra became a key part of the team's success. He hit .295 that year, bringing energy and fire to every game. Then came the National League Championship Series against the Houston Astros. In Game 3, with the series tied, Dykstra stepped up to the plate. In the bottom of the 9th inning, he launched a dramatic walk-off home run that electrified Shea Stadium. It was the type of moment that every kid dreams about, and it made Dykstra a Mets legend. His contributions didn't stop there. Dykstra was a force during the World Series against the Boston Red Sox, batting .296 and hitting 2 home runs, including a leadoff shot in Game 3. The Mets came back from a 3-2 series deficit to win the World Series in 7 games, sealing a place in baseball history. Dykstra's intensity and clutch performances made him a fan favorite in New York. But as quickly as he rose with the Mets, Dykstra's time in New York came to an end. In 1989, he was traded to the Philadelphia Phillies, a move that would define the second half of his career. In Philadelphia, Dykstra found a new home and new heights. He became a 3-time All-Star and led the National League in hits, walks, and on-base percentage during his peak years. 1993 was his standout season. He finished second in the National League MVP race, batting .305 with 19 home runs, and he led the Phillies to an unexpected World Series appearance against the Toronto Blue Jays. The Phillies didn't win, but Dykstra's performance in the series, 4 home runs and a .348 batting average, cemented his reputation as a player who thrived under pressure. He played with the same fearless approach, but his all-out style came with a price. Injuries began to take their toll, limiting his playing time in the years that followed. In 1996, after a string of injuries, Lenny Dykstra retired from baseball, leaving behind a legacy of grit and tenacity on the field. After stepping away from the game, Lenny Dykstra didn't just fade into the background. He jumped into the business world with the same intensity he brought to baseball. He opened a series of car washes in California and launched a magazine aimed at helping professional athletes manage their money. For a while, it seemed like Dykstra had found a new path. He even gained praise as a savvy entrepreneur, offering financial advice to current and former players. But beneath the surface, trouble was brewing. In 2008, Dykstra's investments took a hit during the financial crisis, and his business empire began to crumble. He filed for bankruptcy in 2009, claiming debts of over $31 million. But bankruptcy was just the beginning of his troubles. By 2011, Dykstra faced charges of grand theft auto, money laundering, and credit card fraud. Authorities accused him of trying to purchase luxury cars using fake financial documents. In 2012, He was sentenced to 3 years in prison after pleading no contest to the charges. Dykstra spent about 6 months behind bars before being released early on good behavior. It didn't end there. In the years following his release, Dykstra continued to find himself in legal battles and controversies. He faced accusations of drug use, assault, and even threats against a rideshare driver in 2018, which led to yet another arrest. For many fans who remembered his glory days on the field, seeing Dykstra's struggles was a harsh reminder of how quickly life can change. He went from being a beloved World Series hero to a man whose name often appeared in the headlines for all the wrong reasons. Lenny Dykstra's story is one of extremes. Extreme highs on the baseball diamond and extreme lows in his personal life. For some, he'll always be remembered as the scrappy outfielder who gave everything he had for the Mets and Phillies, a player who delivered in the clutch and played with a fearless heart. For others, his legacy is tainted by the scandals and controversies that followed his playing days. But maybe that's what makes his story so fascinating. Dykstra reminds us that heroes are flawed, that life is unpredictable, and that success on the field doesn't guarantee smooth sailing after the final out. As the Mets continue their 2024 postseason run, players like Francisco Lindor are creating new memories for the fans. But it's worth remembering the legends who came before, those who, like Lenny Dykstra, left it all on the field. His life is a cautionary tale, but it's also a story of passion, resilience, and the price of living life with the pedal to the metal. From his unforgettable homer in 1986 to his fall from grace, Lenny Dykstra's story is one of baseball's most complicated. And maybe that's why we're still talking about him, long after his playing days are over. If you enjoyed this deep dive into baseball history, hit that like button, subscribe for more stories, and let us know in the comments, who's your favorite Mets legend?